Okay, so as far as what you need, you're gonna have your 8-ounce fillet, olive oil, Montreal steak seasoning, get your butter out, cast iron skillet, and we're using tongs for this, and I use a nice big lid that fits the entire rim of the pan, and you'll see why here in a bit. So we're gonna set this to medium low to start, right around there. Olive oil, right in the pan, just enough. Okay, and next we're going to go butter, and we're going to go about a tablespoon on that. Okay, now that we're waiting for the pan to heat up, we're going to take our Montreal steak seasoning, we're going to pop that open, and you're going to put that all over the top there. You're just going to shake that right on the top, and you know, don't be afraid to get a good bit on there. We can go ahead and do that other side if we want. Okay, now that our pan has gotten good and warm, we're going to go ahead and take that seasoned steak, and we're just going to place that nicely right in the middle of that pan. Okay, and as that pan begins to heat up, this is going to sizzle away at that steak, and we're going to get a nice medium rare sear. Now, keeping that heat relatively low, we're going to go ahead and lock that lid. Now, keeping that heat relatively low, still sort of that medium to low setting, we're going to go ahead and put that lid right on the top to lock in those juices. So that way that gives it a nice even cook. Now, after a couple of minutes, take that lid off, and you're just going to take your tongs and you're going to start shifting the steak around. That way you're going to get those juices going in here. Okay, just shift that steak around. Now you're going to cook this steak probably roughly 15 minutes each side, just depends on how you want your steak done. This is a very low setting. We've even turned it down even further because it started getting a little hot. And if you've noticed, I've shifted the steak over to the cooler side of the pan because we started getting a little bit hot. So you just want to pay attention to that as the steam starts to rise. You want to pay attention. You want to really react to that. Start shifting your steak around. Make sure you're not getting too dark of a sear on there. And really just letting that burn char taste get away from you. Now about halfway through your sear, what you're going to do is you're going to start picking your tongs up. You can start using your tongs to sear the side of this thing. So go ahead and get those, shift those underneath, right like that. And go ahead and lift the steak up on its side. I want to get a nice little sear on the side there, like that. Don't be too crazy. And then we'll continue cooking on that side for the remainder of the time, and then we'll go ahead and flip to the other side. Okay, so now when you've waited the appropriate time to flip, what you're going to go ahead and do is just get your tongs and just flip your steak right on over. And you should see that nice sear. It shouldn't be too black because we've been paying attention to the temperature. Once again, leaving that temp nice and low, and paying attention if it gets too hot, we're shifting it around. It's gonna be darker than that once we're done. If you're using a thermometer, medium rare steak should be between 130 and 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Now remember, when dealing with a nice big thick steak like this, it's going to continue to cook when you take it off, so don't be afraid to take it off and let it rest and see how it looks in a few minutes. You can always throw it back on. Sometimes if I'm cooking this just for myself too, I'll trim off the fat as I go, so that way I can see how done it is. So now that my fillet is cooked, I'm going to go ahead and move that over to my plate. And I'm going to cut it open and see what it looks like. And there you have it. Okay, so as far as what you need, you're going to have your 8-ounce filet, olive oil, Montreal steak seasoning, get your butter out, cast iron skillet, and we're using tongs for this, and I use a nice big lid that fits the entire rim of the pan, and you'll see why here in a bit.